Okay. So for those who are not aware, we've just seen a brief summary of what it's all about and how dedicated the platform is to raising people who will cause change, not just in the immediate environment, but in the world. So back to our webinar for this month. Now, while we joined in for the session, we're playing a song, and then there was a line that stuck out for me. It was all the things I could do if I had all the money. So if you had all the money in the world, what would that thing be? Or what would that thing, or what would you do if you had all the money in the world? Yes, that's it. In the chat section, what would you do if you had all the money in the world? Let me see your responses. What would you do? Or we don't need money. It's like we don't need money. Or we don't like money. Yeah, okay, tour the world. Someone says, make what I love, a family. Okay, great. Tour the world. Kike says, okay. Catherine says, philanthropy. Okay. More comments, please. Oh, I just assume that these three people are just, oh, okay. Someone says invest more. It's like people don't like money. It's okay. It's all good. It's okay. All right. We would be having our first guest speaker coming up shortly. But before I welcome her, I would have to play a profile. Okay, profile of all our speakers. We have amazing speakers today who understand their craft, who are trailblazers, who are up there where they are, and they are going to be teaching us how to master money, not just to earn money or have money, but how to keep it, invest it, and make it keep reproducing for us. So it's going to be an amazing time. So do not even multitask at this time. Please concentrate and be ready to learn. In the meantime, I will be sharing the profile of our speakers. Let me share my screen. Is this visible? Let me confirm this time around. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right, great. So here are the profile of the speakers today.
Dr. Tayo Oyedeji is currently the Chief Executive Officer of Publicis Group Nigeria, Africa's #1 marketing communications group. He is also a proud co-founder of Overwood, a trusted high-yield investment company in Nigeria. He is an experienced business leader with startup and corporate experience in Africa, Europe, and North America. He holds a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Ilorin, a doctorate degree in media management from the University of Missouri, Columbia, USA, and the Master of Business Administration in General Management from Oxford University. He has over 20 years of corporate and academic experience, spanning media advertising, finance, marketing, and management consulting. This includes a prior 3-year stint as the Regional Managing Director at Starcom Mediavest South Africa and Head Publicis Media Africa, where he was responsible for driving the growth of Publicis Group's media brands across 34 countries in sub-Saharan Africa. He was also the Managing Director of Media Perspectives, a digital-first integrated media solutions company. With an interest in educational development, Dr. Tayo was Assistant Professor of Media Management and Economics at the University of Georgia, USA, where he served for 3 years. His research on branding and brand equity management has been published in reputable journals like the American Behavioral Scientist, the International Journal on Media Management, and the Journal of Media Business Studies. Beyond his corporate reach, Dr. Tayo uses social media to mentor and counsel young professionals as well as entrepreneurs on business management, financial independence, investments, and early retirement.
Adepoju
Tumininu holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Electronic and Electrical Engineering from the University of Ilorin, Nigeria. She is an internationally certified process-driven manager with several international certifications, including Scrum Master and ITIL certification. She has training in project management, Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, and certified business analyst. She has also completed several leadership programs at Harvard Business School. She has over 17 years of experience in supervisory and management roles, with strength in changing the behavioral culture of the team and creating a strong team. As a much sought public speaker, she has been featured on several platforms, both locally and internationally. These include Taurarin Arewa Televant as a moderator, Awedi International, MOA, Cedar Group, TCN WIB, Father's Draw, and Let's Talk Charity, to mention a few. She was awarded as the most supportive member of 9 to 5 Chicks 2021, a community of mid-executive career women. She was equally selected among the top 100 career women in Nigeria. She is a member of the prestigious WIMBIZ, Women in Business, Nigeria Society of Engineers, NSE. She is passionate about financial freedom and helping people reach their God-given potential through personal development. This she does through coaching and mentoring, which has come with some staggering successes. One of her greatest joys is watching zeros becoming heroes by helping people discover limiting habits and replace them with habits that will help them reach their potential. Her vision is to ensure the growth of a generation of leaders that will bring transformational change to the world in their respective spheres of influence and help them overcome their fears by providing the necessary resources to develop a growth mindset to overcome failure. As a part of the READ vision, she has helped grow the community in the space of 1 year to impact over 1,000 people in over 10 countries. These webinars have attracted acclaimed speakers worldwide, including CEOs, bank directors, etc. Lives have been transformed and habits changed by the information and knowledge shared on this platform.
Susan Abi Ejuomah is a writer and communications professional. She is a trained biochemist who ventured into health journalism and reporting. Her ability to articulate and report health news and stories earned her a nomination at the Nigerian Academy Science Awards for Science Broadcast Journalists of 2018. She has written over 100 articles, blog posts, and press releases for small and medium business brands. She is currently a medium writer, the host of the podcasts Your Co-Wife Podcasts and Your Co-Wife Podcasts weekly newsletter, a platform and community that caters to Christian wives. She is also the founder of Thriving Point, a platform dedicated to young professionals. She supports them in constructing their portfolios, LinkedIn profiles, and resumes to help them achieve professional goals. In addition, she is a member of the Read Nigeria community, a platform dedicated to raising ethical millionaires. She contributes written content for monthly newsletters and social media platforms and frequently hosts webinars.
Ladies and gentlemen,
on this prestigious platform, let us make welcome our speakers and moderator
on today's webinar.
Okay, just watching this made me smile. I don't know about you. I feel emotional, but without some delay, let's just welcome our first speaker, Engineer Tumininu Adepoju. She is popularly called Coach, and there's a reason why we call her Coach, because she is a coach and a mentor. You're welcome, Ma. Over to you, Ma.
Wow, amazing, 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 amazing. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on the part of the world you're joining us from. This is going to be very, very interactive. So please, if you can hear me, can I see some buzz in the chat room? Where are you joining us from? This is going to be very interactive, and it's going to be what's your Saturday, I can assure you. So quick introduction in the chat room. Quick, I know we've introduced ourselves. Hey, thank you. Tola, I see you. Got Tola in the house. Hey, Nika from Germany, amazing. Catherine from Uganda. Tola from Germany. Okay, Tola, so you and Nika would sing in Germany. Kamal from Yola. Isn't technology just amazing? Dimeji from Lagos, you're welcome. Elizabeth from Abuja. Okay, because of time, I would be moving. Even from Uganda, you're welcome. So, let me share my screen. And this is going to be very, very interactive. We're going to be doing this together. I'm going to be sharing quite a bit of things, and I will try as much as possible not to do information overload. But whatever it is, even if it is just one thing you're going to get from today's webinar, I'm going to assure you that your future generation is going to thank you for it. Your future self is going to thank you for it. So I'll be speaking about one of my favorite topics. I have a lot of them, but I love to talk about money. They say money makes the world go round. For those of us that joined early, the song that was played, part of what the woman was saying is, our own strategy for getting money is, I'm going to marry a rich man. How many women in the house thought like that growing up? You are grown now, so we know that you've changed, but how many of us in the house was a rich man? Marrying a rich man was your ticket out of poverty. You can raise your hand. We are just gisting. Let's make this fun. All the women in the house. Everybody's now holy. Say the truth now. Nika, you never thought of marrying a rich man. Catherine, thank you, Jare. Even me, my hands are up. Well, me, I was on that table at some point in my life. Susan, YouTuber, hey. So it's fine. It's fine. It's Nika that is one of the Tai Chis. That is good, you know. There's no right or wrong answers. Your answer is your answer. Today, I'll be speaking about ABC of investment. So it's very basic. It's common sense, you know, like you'll be able to relate with it. It's basic, elementary common sense, as I like to say. And yes, you've seen my profile. I like my name very much. My name is Adepoju Tumininu, and we'll be doing this together. So let's start. What is money? In the chat room, can I have 3, 4, 5 answers? What is money? I have 30 minutes thereabouts to do this. What is money? You people are here now. You saw money mastery. So what is money? We are doing this together. Exchange for goods. Good. Thank you, Dimeji from Lagos. What is money? I'm sure there is no day that passes that we don't talk money. Okay, Tola says is the medium of exchange for commercial value. Money is something. Hey, Dr. Tayo in the house. Dr. T, make some noise. Dr. T, we are privileged to have you this early. Thank you so much, sir. Money is something that answers all things. We have church people in the house. The money is something that answers all things. It's very important that we have is the exchange for value. Correct. You know, we can see that we're having different definitions for money. As I said, this is going to be very, very practical. It's going to be something we can relate with. Bumi says that money is a tool with which you can exchange for value, services, and resources. So one thing we are saying about money is that where there is money, there is some form of exchange. And we're all correct. For the sake of our time, as I said, we're doing ABC today. I'm focusing on the definition. Elizabeth is saying money can be regarded as your time's worth, correct? I'm focusing on the definition of money as currency. I'm sure we've all heard that term of your currency, your currency, your currency. And I'll be debunking some myths, some perceptions we've had about money before now. Now, what is currency? It's very important we understand. Remember, we are talking about ABC of investment. That is what I'm speaking about. Dr. Tayo will be speaking about something else when it comes to money mastery. What is currency? What comes to your mind when you think currency? Can I have your responses in the chat room? When you hear currency, what comes to your mind? Please, I hope somebody is checking our Facebook. Okay, when you hear current, what comes to your mind? When you hear the word current, currency is derived from the word current. When you hear current, what comes to your mind? Something that flows. Excellent, excellent. I'll just pick up on that. So when you hear that money is currency, deriving itself from the root word current, it means it flows. And the explanation I'll be giving this evening from my part of the world, for some people it's morning, is money flows, it moves. That's why you say it is exchange. So money always flows from A to B. Remember, this is elementary. Whichever one is your own, just pick it and start understanding it. So you start understanding why it seems money is scarce for you, because it flows. So if you feel like you have a shortage of money, I will be looking at why some of those things happen. Why is it that money is not flowing towards you? Why is it that you are not attracting money? Because it is currency. Now, I will drop something and I'll still be speaking about that. Money flows. And money flows, allow me to use this. I try to be very nice. I'm learning how to be nice now. Money flows from the stupid to the wise. As in, that's a little bit blunt, but that's just what it is. For every time you are doing an exchange, you are exchanging to get value. So if you want more money to flow towards you in whatever area, we'll be looking at that. You just have to increase your worth, because money flows towards value. It's that simple. You guys have said it, that money is used for exchange of goods, services, money is used for value, and that's why I said this is ABC. Things that we know, will be tying it together. And now we are saying that money is currency, money flows. So if money is not flowing to my account, if money is not flowing to my wallet, simple common sense, it just means that I need to increase my value so that an exchange will come. And we'll be looking at these things in details. There's this popular saying that says that a fool and his money are soon parted. If you see a stupid person, it's just a function of time. You see a stupid person that has money, it's just a function of time. That person is going to be scammed out of that money, because money and stupidity is like oil and water. It doesn't mix. It is a function of time. It's going to separate. And as I said, this is ABC. You'll be seeing it. So, history of money. I needed to do this history. We've said what is money. It's exchange. Now, money is not paper. For those of us, I'm doing this broadcast from Nigeria. For those of us that are in Nigeria, the federal government just issued a circular, I think like 2 days ago or something, that the current paper we are holding now and we are calling money, by January 31st, 2023, it ceases to be a legal tender. So it doesn't matter how much of 1,000 naira notes you have in this current paper, it becomes useless to you by 31st of January. This is very important, because if you don't understand these things, you would be chasing the wrong thing. And that's why the first thing I try to establish for us is that money is all about value. It moves to value. It's not paper. It's not the paper you are holding. If you carry, when I first asked the question a bit wrongly, Nika said, oh, when you think currency, you think dollar. Because dollar is like the general acceptable currency everywhere. Dollar, 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 popularly. If you carry dollar to my local market here, even if it is $100, and you give it to the woman that is selling local goods, she doesn't understand what you are doing. So she's like, what is this? Paper money is an invention of man. In the beginning, it was not so. The first way exchange, you remember that we said money is an exchange of value, and you are going to understand this thing. It's basic, that's why it is ABC. This one is not advanced class. Before now, if I wanted to buy a shoe, I have a shoe. No, I want a shoe, but I have maybe a bag of beans. I need to first look for somebody that has my shoe size, that is ready to trade it, and needs a bag of beans. So that was the initial system we've heard about, trade by barter. And interestingly, I was tempted to share that post, but I find it quite emotional. I'd seen a post before on the net where human beings, in the days of slave trade, human beings were being exchanged for horses. So I saw the post. The post read something like, I think it was somewhere in Colombia, 7 black, strong slaves in exchange for 2 horses. So it happened. You exchange a whole human being for more than human being for us, trade by barter. I have human beings come and give me your horse. So, that was the first way this exchange started. It was not sustainable, because you might not always get somebody that needs, that needs what you have. So it came to a time where the world tried to get a unifier. Then we moved to precious stones. Of course, before that, we did cowries. I just tried to summarize it so that the class will not be too long. But I want to give you a background to this. Then from there, we moved from precious metals, we moved to what we call fiat money. That's the paper money that is commonplace right now. Then after paper money, I remember when we started having cards, all the ATM cards, for me, it was like, hey, wow, when you have a card, you want to flash it. And now there is so much noise about cryptocurrency, digital money, which we believe is the future. So that is a brief history of money. So many people coming into the chat room. Professor Gajisa, we celebrate you. Thank you. You're welcome. Michelle from Ghana, I see you. Welcome. Welcome. So now, how do you gain mastery over money? So far, so good. Please, are you following me? Can I see in the chat room? Are you getting something? Are you following me? As I said, this will be interactive. This is a very interactive session because it's our day-to-day life. Okay, thank you. Now, as commonplace as money is, the 80-20 rule plays a lot. The 80-20 rule is the Pareto's principle. You see 80 to 90% of people struggling with finances. Every day, it's a rat race, you know. You're running kitty kitty, kata kata, and it just looks like it's not adding up. Despite the fact that it's something you need, it's everybody's basic need. So how do we gain mastery? As I said, this is, you know, it's common sense. We'll be doing common sense. Number one, please write it down. You must spend less than you earn. It's not rocket science. If you are not spending less than you earn, and I'll take a bit of time on this slide. If you are not spending less than you earn, you are a disaster waiting to happen. And before you can spend less than you are earning, number one, please write this. These are important truths, very basic, but important truths. Number one, you must know how much you are earning. A number of people do different things. So I see people say they have the 9 to 5, they have the 5 to 9, they have their side hustles and all of that. All this, your multiple stream of income, and I'm not talking about multiple stream of income right now. All this, your multiple stream of income, have you aggregated it? How much is actually coming in? How much is going out? It sounds elementary, but that is the reason why over 90% of people are in financial problems. Because you can't even track what is coming in. You can't track what is going out. And whatever you can't track, you cannot improve upon it. Another popular mistake I see people make is they look like, oh, I have multiple streams of income. But because they are not tracking the multiple streams of income, they don't even know what their main source is. So you see people majoring in the minor. You have your 9 to 5 that is bringing in like 70 to 80% of your income. Instead of you to concentrate on it, make your boss happy, do what you need to do. You will be faffing around, jumping up and down. There's this very dangerous thing that is going around that you cannot get rich working for somebody else. I honestly don't know how that lie started. Because the next month is our entrepreneur week. We are going to be having entrepreneur month, sorry. We have very heavy speakers lined up to come and talk to us about entrepreneurship. Yes, entrepreneurs make lots of money, but the question is, what is the percentage? Because you must use data to take all these decisions you are taking. What is the percentage of people that actually scale through as business people? I tell people that from data that I see, it's easier for you to make money and live a comfortable life working for somebody than starting your business. So the headache no be here. Statistics, and this is not developing country statistics. I have quite a number of people from developing countries on this call. Statistics has it that 90% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. And go and trend it. So you starting a business, you're already an endangered species. And you are working for somebody, the person is paying you well, you can be promoted, you can have like a career path and all of that. You are not faffing around. Like, I don't understand it. And that's why I said, This is ABC. So please spend less than you earn. Understand where you are making money from and don't joke with it. Don't joke with it. We are not talking career now, we'll still talk about career, but I just had to emphasize on this because I see too many people, especially young people, making this dangerous mistake early in their lives. You would not be serious at work, if not for anything, even gain experience. While you are working for somebody, gain the experience on how to run your own business. And I'm not talking about karma today, so we are not talking about sowing and reaping. But yes, it actually comes when it comes to making money. Whatever you sow, you reap. So if you are working for somebody else and you are faffing around because you believe that you will be cutting corners to work for yourself, it's not something that will take you far. So please spend less than you earn. And before you can spend less than you earn, you must track what you are spending and you must be able to track what you are earning. There are softwares that can help you do this. When you see companies checking their books, you get why. When you see people say, no, we cannot invest in a company until we've seen their books for 3 years, 4 years, you get why. So you cannot be running your own life anywhere belle face. Excuse my French. You just wake up. Any amount is the day the money reaches below. You are constantly on overdraft. It's not healthy. Yes, this is ABC, and I hope you'll be able to, for people that are on this bench, you'd be able to get 1 or 2 things to do. Now, what ABC? ABC. I'm doing ABC because this is continuous journey. So I'm just giving you basic tips to help you, elementary. Number 1, you must be able to protect your earning. So there are things you have to be able to protect. There are things you must plan. You must be able to put your life this way. And as I said, this is ABC because when it comes to this, there are things you need to know, understand on how to do this. I've spoken a bit about protecting your earning already in the previous slide. You have a steady income. Like, I don't get it. Why would you jeopardize it? Why? Everything takes planning. It takes faces. The guy that founded Flutterwave, Peter Agbola, if I remember his name correctly now, he was working with Zenith Bank for years. There's nothing wrong with working with people because even when you start your business, you need people to work for you. So please, let's get sense. Protect your assets. You've managed to gather some things together. You have houses, you have real estate, whatever it is that you have gold, you have this. Don't go selling off your assets over shiny things. Shiny things being the next big thing. Hey, this investment now, I'm telling you, if you bring this thing now in the next 24 hours, in the next 3 months, you are going to make triple. You will now mumutiously, permit my French. Something you've labored for 5, 6 years. Somebody now comes and sweet talk you out of it. Remember, I told you that money is currency. It's current. It flows. It moves from the stupid to the wise. And every day you wake up, there are people that are sleeping and waking, and the only thing they are thinking of is how to scam you out of your hard-earned money. Trust me. And I'm using the word scam. Scam is not French. Scam is not English. It's not Ibibio. It's not Uganda's local francois. Scamming is as old as humanity. whichever country you are in, you stand a tendency to be scammed. So your head must be thinking. You must be able to weigh things that are coming to you. I've seen people lose 10 years of savings, 10 years of investment over quick money. And I often tell people, come easy, go easy. If it is that easy to make money, your parents will have been billionaires, trust me. So when people come with all these very fancy things, don't worry, now me smart pass. Protect your assets. Protect those you love. So if everything I've said has not made sense to you, at least there are people you love, your children, your parents, your siblings. Think of the impact your decisions will make on them before you fritter away your children's school fees. And these are things that I've seen. Before you fritter away your family's security. And we've seen cases where men can't take this pressure. I think this pressure is more on men. And it now leads to suicide. It's unnecessary. Your children will now have to face the time, God help me. Your children will now have to face the scandal of their parents committing suicide. Do you understand the mental trauma? It's not necessary. It's not. That's why we said this is ABC. Very simple, ABC. Dr. Tayo is in the house, is somebody I respect very much on different climbs. And when it comes to ABC of investment, as in like since last year, I've been chasing him. So the family people hear about since last year, ask him, I've been chasing him. And God bless him, he agreed to come. Then the next thing you have to do is you must plan. I tell the people in the rich community, nobody is coming to save you. Plan, 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 plan. A popular cliche says, failure to plan is planning to fail. It's as simple as that. How will you not have a plan for your life? Jack Ma says that if you are above 35, and when I heard that thing, I'm like, Jack Ma, but that's the truth. If you are above 35 and you are still poor, it is 100% your fault. 100%. Your life is in your hands. Plan. Plan. It is not you that they will be using for every marketing gimmick. They'll come and meet you. Every sales slash, you are not even thinking. Somebody will put something, 1,000 on it. It now looks nobody is buying. You know, there's a very popular marketing gimmicks that is almost as old as time. Then they now come, they now change it to 5,000. Then they now do 90% slash, they put 1,000. Your brain tells you, hey, I'm saving 4,000. You go and buy what you don't need. Please, you will audit yourself. After this, go to your house. Audit yourself. Go and look at the number of things you've bought that since you've bought it, you never used it. Calculate the impact. Imagine if you've used it for something else. And under these major purchases, I didn't write this, but please include it. You must plan your education. Like, I cannot understand how you will not have an education budget. It does not make any form of sense to me. And education budget goes beyond like formal education and all of that. Take your time, check. The world is changing. We've spoken about the history of money. Right now, you've seen money changing and all of that. Same thing. So many things have changed in this current generation. Go and look at the skills for the next level. Plan yourself in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years. Remember, I said you should protect your earning. This job I'm doing, how will I protect myself there? What are the skills that is needed in this place or in this space? What are the skills that is needed in the next 5 years? So many things are going redundant. For those of us that are a little bit young, you know, I'm still young, thank you, fine girl. But I remember when the world was transiting from typewriters. So some of you, the Gen Zs, might not know that. But yes, there was typewriter. of my friends shared like a joke with me that the school teachers took the picture of old typewriter and they now asked children to write what this is. And the child wrote under it, microwave. Because the child does not know what a typewriter is. So the child said the closest thing this thing is microwave. You are looking at the next skills and you are keying yourself. You are carrying this your money to train yourself in the next skills. That is how people make money. Investment. You are investing in yourself. You are your number one plan because nobody is coming to save you. Your parents have tried for you. They've sent you to the number of school that you've gone to now. You, what are you doing for yourself? Major purchases must be planned. This is 2022 ending in 2023. What's your developmental plan for yourself? Everything you are using, the Silicon Valley, and please forgive me, Americans that are here, I'm 100% loyal. But Silicon Valley is using you to be buying the latest purchase. iPhone 14. Once we see you, as we look at you like this, your worth, we can know your worth. You constantly buy things that doesn't have second-hand value, nothing in the brain. And yes, this is a friendly webinar. I'm sure my people will harass me very well after this. But honestly, these are things that I see that I can't phantom. And you're wondering why you don't have money. The money is wondering why you do not, why you think you will have it. Because it moves. It moves. It moves. Plan for your retirement. Your children are not your retirement plan. Your children are not your retirement plan. It's irresponsibility for you to be working and you are not planning for retirement. There's this Jewish book of all wisdom that I like to read. And one of the wisest men supposedly ever lived, one of the things he wrote there. So if you think that my talk is a bit harsh, please go to that book. I think the book is harsher than me. And it goes like, go to the hands. So imagine telling a whole human being like you that, see, the way you are living your life, go and get wisdom from hands. That you see the hands, it does not have master, it doesn't have this, but yet it has the sense to store for dry season because there's a time of drought. Plan for your retirement, put something aside. Plan for emergencies. Life happens. Life happens, guys. Life happens. Have at least a 3 months to 6 months emergency plan. Is elementary common sense. A, B, C. I don't have the time to really break down this. And that's why, we said this is ABC and you'll be seeing what to do after this. But these are things that I need to emphasize on because these are common money mistakes that I see people make, which makes them not have money. There's a way for people in rich community, we are very strong about it. There is a way rich people think. There's a way poor people think. It's the poor man that will tell you that, let's enjoy today. I'm a Yoruba woman, so permit me to speak a bit of Yoruba. I'll try and translate it. Let me enjoy today. Nobody knows tomorrow. So they don't plan for retirement. They don't plan for emergency. They don't plan for, they don't plan. They live their life in the now. That is the way a poor person thinks. But when you see a rich person, the guy strategizes. He's very deliberate. He's curated in everything he's doing. And I'm sure we are taking lessons now because you'll be seeing some things. You'll be seeing some things. So you have to first be able to change, your mindset. Now, to equally make money, invest, you must solve a problem. You must solve a problem. All that energy, people that are around me, they know it, I say it a lot. The energy, because it's lots of energy, the energy you will use to complain about the problem, use the energy to solve a problem. And I really like the next slide. You can see me smiling. Meet Tope Awotono. I sincerely hope I meet this man one of those days. Amazing, amazing, amazing Yoruba man, even though he's currently not based in this part of the world. So Tope Awotono is the founder and CEO of Calendly. If you're not familiar with Calendly, please check it up after this. He founded this company in 2013, and he founded it out of a frustration. Currently, the company that was birthed out of frustration is worth about $3 billion US. Check it. So I ask people, number one, don't waste your pain. Pain is good. Pain is, without pain, there will be no humanity. So pain is very good. Welcome your pain, but do not waste that pain. A lot of times we waste our pains, and our pains is supposed to be opportunity for us to blow, as we say in Nigeria. If you can look at that pain, because the truth is, what you are frustrated about is not synonymous to only you. A lot of people are frustrated about it. Right now, we are using the Zoom software. And Zoom, when I was checking the history of Zoom, Zoom was founded because this guy was frustrated. He couldn't be taking the travel time to go and see his then girlfriend. And he was thinking, there must be a software with which I can talk and see her and all of that. And he started Zoom. And COVID came. And COVID blew it up. So please don't waste your pain. What's that thing that is frustrating you? Can you sit down and think of a solution that would transcend your geographical background? Remember, we are talking about ABC. We all have our frustrations. We all have things that is driving us cuckoo. But that thing that is driving you cuckoo, you are sitting on Honeywell. If you can translate that solution to money. So this is Tope Awotono, very respected, highly celebrated man. Now, another thing I'd like to debunk in our mind before I bring in Dr. Tayo is trading versus investment. I'm speaking ABC of investment. So you need to understand what trading is. You need to understand what investment is. When you come into a transaction with a short-term mindset, you are trading. So I want to buy rice now because I believe that the price of rice will go up by next year. That's trading. It's not investment. Investment is long-term. I'm thinking profit, 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 and I will be showing you. With investments, you're thinking growth. And please, permit me to say, I've said it in other ways, but permit me to say it this way right now, that investment in yourself yields the highest ROI. You must be able to invest time and money in yourself if you want to make this money. You just have to. It's not something you can afford to outsource to anybody. Because even the best investment platforms over the years, if you trend it, they've run into crisis. It is what it is. But when you understand these things, and they are not complicated, it's a step at a time. As I said, you'll be seeing other slides on how to help you with this. Investments, your benefits is from volatility. You are looking, hey, there's fuel scarcity now. Let me quickly get fuel and sell fuel. I will make 50%, I'll make 150%. That's the way trading works. But with investment, because it is gradual, It's slow and steady. It's less risky. Your mindset is different. It's not the day you graduate from university, it's not the day you got your PhD that you're expecting to get all the money. But yet that certificate has been giving you returns over years. That's what investment is all about. Trading, buying and selling, investment, buying and holding. I decided to use the track of Amazon. All of us here would be familiar with Amazon to explain this. So this is Amazon from like 2016 to 2020. When you are investing, and this is where a lot of people miss it. And as I said, this is ABC because there are some other things I would have really loved to say, but I can't say it. I don't have the time here because there are things you need to know. You can see the way the graph is. This is the way investment curve always is. Most people have the mindset that it's supposed to be a straight line. I'm debunking that myth for you. You can go and pick any well-performing business anywhere in the world. It is never a straight line. You have your dips, you have your highs. So if you had bought, I hope you can see my screen. If you, let me see. Okay. So if you had bought somewhere here, now, look at where it is now. And this is Amazon business. For anybody that bought these shares now, it's at when it was at this peak. Right now, I remember that it hit this peak. This is sometime in 2019. Okay, so this is stopping at 2020. I couldn't get the trend into 2022. But if you had stopped, if you sell it somewhere here, the truth is you will lose money. But if you can wait, and that's why you must have a plan. This is ABC. You'll be learning the rest later. You must have a plan for yourself. Is this a 5-year plan? Is it a 3-year plan? Is it a 10-year plan? And that's what will determine what you will do with your money. You can't carry school fees money. I see people do that drama. You go and carry school fees money and you go and put it in something you don't have control over. Like, seriously? Please. I hope you're with me in the chat room. Are you getting one or two things? Can I see your response in the chat room? How are we doing? How are we doing? Excellent. As I said, trading is buying and selling. It's something else. So now I'm going to the end of my slide now because I need to bring up Dr. Tayo, and we're respecting our time. I've been repeating this thing like broken record. Develop yourself. Develop yourself. You joining this webinar, listening, this part of development, and you can see that you're gaining things. You must be able to develop. Is non-negotiable. You need knowledge. Join money-related community. I'm very strong on network. Very, very, I can use network to preach anything. So join money-related community like Read. Kika, please, can you drop our Facebook page, our handles in the chat room for people that are not currently following us? Because when you join these communities, those are the things that would help you. I'm a strong preacher of communities. Worked for me back to back, back to back, back to back. Build a formidable money network. You are the one that knows what your network is. That's why they will say your network is your net worth. Why do you need to build a formidable money network? Because money is in people. This money that you are looking for, kita up and down, is because you have the wrong people around you. I'm telling you. And these are things you need to learn. And it's in stages. So if your level is, let me say, $1,000. Let me use dollars. And there is nobody in your network. You enter an emergency of $1,000. You cannot raise $1,000. You don't have the right money network. It's as simple as that. So this is part of the audit that some of you need to do for yourself. Go and look at your network. Do you have the right network? Are you top of mind for the right people? If they are bringing out jobs, they are bringing out contracts, they are looking, do you have the people that will mention your name? It can't be inside Bet Niger that they are mentioning your name. You are in the wrong network. I'm telling you straight up. If it is only pulling boots, it's gamblers that remember your name, and you are looking for money. So if you get the money, you come and teach us. Don't let me be too categorical. But from what I've seen, when the right people know you, when the right people can call your name in rooms where you are not, money flows. Have frequent money conversation. You cannot only be discussing Telemundo and I don't know. Money conversations. You are discussing money. You understand the trend of money. Oh, this is this. You must have friends that you are having money conversations with. Not people that you're only discussing the latest fashion trend. Get a money coach. You get why? You must find somebody that is able to coach, because what you don't know, you don't know. And there is no recipe for ignorance aside from wisdom. I was gisting with somebody earlier this week, and we're talking about my Jewish book of all wisdom. There's a coach there that was a mentor that was speaking to his mentee. And now this particular mentor is somebody that was very vast, highly learned. In fact, the second part of that book, this man single-handedly wrote 70% of the book. And what he was telling his mentee is this. He said, guy, go and read. Read so that you will not be ashamed. And I was telling this babe that go back and go and check that book, because she and I will read the book together. That's when a mentor is telling a mentee, read so that you will not be ashamed. Read so that you will not be disgraced. It is because in ignorance, they say ignorance is bliss. I don't know. In ignorance, there is disgrace, because you will be sincerely wrong. So you must get people that can put you right. Acknowledge that you don't know and get people that would put you right. So thank you. I think I overshot my time by 4 minutes, not 14 minutes, 5 minutes. Okay, yeah. So this is me, Adepoju Tumininu. This is my Instagram handle. That is my email if you want to reach out to me, and you can reach out to us as a community. We'll be taking questions after the entire session. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Coach. Like, this is simply amazing. Just one for a better word, simply amazing. Like, if there's any phrase that stuck with me, is money flows from the stupid to the wise. So for you, it could be something different, but this ABC has been very practical. So we're going to welcome our next speaker. He's someone that I secretly follow on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, I don't know what you're doing. But if you're on Twitter and you're not following him, well, I still don't know what you're doing. But our next speaker is amazing. He is detailed. He knows. He's like a guru, if I would say that. So without much delay, let's make welcome Dr. Tayo Oyedeji. Over to you, sir.
Thanks a lot. How are you doing, Kike? I don't know if you guys can see me. I don't know if my screen is on now.
Yes, we can, sir.
Yes, we can see you.
But I can't see myself, so I'm hopeful that I don't look horrible. Okay, Kike, would you please give me the rights to share screen? Oh, can I share? Oh, it seems like I can share my screen now.
Yes, you can.
Okay. So you guys see my screen?
Yes, please. We can see your screen, sir.
Okay. And it's on slide share now, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so okay guys, good morning from over here. Thanks a lot to Coach Itunu for inviting me. She's awesome as usual. She's like the tallest woman I know, but also one of the most brilliant people I've ever come across. The beauty of it was that Itunu and I were in university together back in the day when we were in University of Ilorin. She was always, by the way, a lot of people don't know that she's an engineer. She's an electrical engineer, right? But she was always just amazing, always a really, really good person. She was always going somewhere, right? So I connected because I knew that this woman would be rich and she'll be able to borrow me money if I need money later. It's you can unmute.
You know, I'm laughing.
Right, so now you know.
Yeah, but it's good, so you guys can see my money network. Sorry, on the level of gist. There was this platform I introduced. Tayo was gracious to come. After they were like, "Is that your friend?" I said, "Excuse me, our bank balance is different."
Thank you so much. It's really good to connect. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to be talking to you about a model I call the financial freedom model. And I think, can everybody just unmute briefly and let's just say hello so I can just make sure everybody's here. You can hear me clearly. Everything is good. Please just unmute briefly and just say hi to everybody, to each other.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Awesome, I love this. Okay, if you please just take a minute to mute yourself back so that I don't get this stuff. But thank you so much. I love those voices I heard. Thank you so much. Right. Okay. So about me, I think I wrote this a while ago. My profile has changed a little bit, but let me just speak to it. So I'm an entrepreneur with business interests primarily in technology and advertising, and also finance. So technology, in that Overwood is a technology firm that I built, started building about 3 years ago. It's a fintech firm that helps people invest their money. But I've also worked quite a bit in management consulting, in advertising, and also I was, funny enough, a lot of people don't know this, but for a few years of my life, I was a professor at the University of Georgia in Atlanta in the US. So I've worked in quite a few different places. But a lot of times now, people don't even talk to me about my specialties anymore. They talk to me about talking about money and how to make it, how to think about it. So a while ago, I was a CEO for Publicis Media in Africa. I was responsible for about 34 countries across the continent. And but that was a good experience because it meant I had to live in South Africa. But I left the job primarily because my family at that time was living in America, so it was quite a big trip. But now I'm mostly based in Nigeria. I shuttle between Nigeria and America, and that's just who I am. So let me talk to you about the model. I think you like it, and I think it would help at least structure your thoughts a little bit in terms of thinking about how money works. So I'll talk to you about 6 different things. Let's start from there. And then I will now put it together into a model that explains how financial freedom works. Expenses, obviously, is what you spend. Income is the money that you make because you're working, right? Emergency funds, about 3 to 6 months of your expenses. Investment is a business or a fund that generates income for you. Now, the one that's a little different that a lot of people don't know about is investment income. It is money you make while you're sleeping, right? So because if you invest properly, that investment brings in some money and you don't have to be actively involved in day-to-day for the investments to bring in money for you. And debt is money you owe. So I'll just gradually walk you through each of these stages of financial independence. All right. The first stage is what we call financial dependence. It is where we all started from, right? So the day you're born, you're financially dependent on your parents or your guardian or some other people. So children are just a bunch of expenses. And you can see the expenses right here is at 100% because that's literally all that a child is, right? I'm trying to see if I can annotate these things. Okay, I'm trying to find okay, can you guys see my annotation? I was trying to draw on top of that thing. I don't know if it's working. Okay, good. Can you see this? Anybody?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
perfect.
we can.
Okay, thank you so much. So children are just a bunch of expenses, right? The problem is that many people stay here too long, right? And they remain as expenses. Sometimes you see 30-year-old, 25-year-olds that haven't even started making any income. And that's all they do. I think a lot of times it's failure of parenting, but also failure of the person, not understanding that you need to move from expense into income, into making money some way or the other. In this case, you're just a bunch of expenses, okay? Oh my God, I haven't done this this thing in a while, so I'm struggling a little bit. Okay, good. Now, what happens if you're well trained, if you go to school, you pick up a few things, is that you go from being a bunch of expenses to making some income. Now, what you notice is that the income you first begin to make usually is not enough to cover your expenses. So let me give an example. When I left university and got my first job, I think I was making 50,000 naira a month, which back, even though it was quite a while back, but even back in those days, it was not enough to cover all my expenses, right? Because the moment I moved to Lagos, I had to go get my own house, sharing with 3 or 4 other people. Then I had transportation to go to work. I had all these other things that meant that my income was never able to cover my expenses. Now, this is where most of us start from. The problem is that a lot of us stay here too long, where we're living in such a way that our income never cover our expenses. Now, there's a question I like to ask here, right? Typically, it is that when this happens, what's the best way to resolve this problem? And anybody can unmute and speak. When you notice that your income, what you're making, is actually less than your expenses, what then should you do? And this is stage 2. Anybody wants to speak to this? Okay, I'll take it. There are 2 ways to deal with this usually. The first is to increase your income, right? That's what most people think about. Then I need to increase my income so that I can cover my expenses. But my view is that the best way to deal with it is actually to reduce your expenses to match your income. To say, instead of me to just say, how do I make, because it takes a while to begin to make more money, right? So it's a bit easier if instead of working to, not if instead, but as you're working concurrently towards making more money, you are also looking for ways to reduce your expenses. So, but for most people, what happens is, because this has happened, they then begin to pack on debts right here, right? Because the expenses is greater than the income, the only way to cover that is to take on debt every day to cover your expenses. And I'll tell you about when this happened to me, because I think it's good for all of us to learn together. So I remember that I think it was around 2001 or so, I got a job. I was still, almost like a fresh grad, a few years out of school. I got a job in Maryland, in Lagos. If you know Lagos, Nigeria well, Maryland is on the mainland. While I was living with my sister in Aja, which is on the island. So it's quite a commute. And what then began to happen is I'd gotten a bit of an increase in my salary, but every single month, this was my life. My expenses were greater than my income. And so every single month I had to take on a little bit of debt so that I could survive and be okay. So I'm doing what I asked those people that are still financially underwater to do. It is to first of all look at yourself and say, what is responsible for these expenses that is ensuring that at the end of the month, I have nothing left, right? And so what I did was I found out that my biggest cost was transportation cost, right? Why was it so expensive? And this is a bit esoteric, but what it meant was that I had to pay almost for like taxis and a couple of things to go back and forth between work. And so what I had to do was to downgrade myself and say, I'll do fewer taxes or no taxes and focus instead on taking buses and large commercial transportation. Back in those days, it was Moluets. And that would ensure that at the end of each month, instead of me to be financially underwater, I would have a little bit in terms of breaking even. So that moved me from that stage to stage 4. It's a better place to be because in stage 4, you've now cut, if you look at these expenses right here, you've cut your expenses so much that your income, which hasn't grown significantly, but now your expenses are below your income, right? So you're able to save a little bit. You're able to cut down on the debt. If you notice, while you were underwater, the debt was more than this. And then you're also able to begin to build an emergency fund. The question I often hear people ask is, should I invest before I build an emergency fund? My answer is always no. Build about 3 months of an emergency fund. So 3 months emergency fund, meaning, I'm sure if you're part of this group, you already know that you're able to survive for 3 months if something happens to you. And so, but the way to do that, first of all, is to cut your expenses. And I just keep saying that because Nigeria is the place where you first will think about is grow your income, right? But the first place to start with is cut your expenses so that you're able to build an emergency fund and then you're able to cut down on your debt. Now, if you do that effectively, you then move to stage 5. Stage 5 is a beautiful place to be, right? It's the place where you're totally debt-free. Now, people say, why am I always asking people to be debt-free? Well, it's because debt is like investments in the negative, right? Because every single debt you take on also has interest, but the interest is taken away from you rather than given to you. While investments also has interest, but interest from investments actually give to you rather than take away from you. So why would you want to hold on to something that takes away from you rather than giving to you, right? So if you're able to, again, drop your expenses, remember we did that earlier. So number 1 is still expenses. Now, number 2 in this case is you've been able to now build your income so that it's greater than where we started from. So you drop your expenses, now you build your income, you pay off the debt, and now you're able to start investing for the first time. And this is when you become financially stable for the first time in this entire model that we've been working through. And again, you begin to make progress here. I think this is where you really want us to spend a bit of time. But I needed to lay a bit of a background so that at least you understand that it's stage by stage. Now, one of the mistakes that people make is that sometimes you want to go from stage 1 and immediately find yourself in stage 6, right? And that's why people begin to get in trouble, right? To do things that would immediately give them the kind of income that will enable them to build investments, get investment income, or even just live large, right? My view is that there's literally nothing you can do to make a woman deliver a baby in 9 weeks. Life has to take its turn. It's got to be 9 months, right? And so in many cases, when it comes to finance and investments, we're often in our part of the world so focused on quick, go, that people then begin to do stupid things that put them in trouble, that put their families in trouble, that make it really, really difficult for them to move ahead, right? So if you've already got into the place where you have investments, that begins to give you investment income, and can be big or large. Let me give an example. So our housekeeper in Nigeria, in Lagos, has been with us for about 10 years. I think one of the things that make Nigeria that is important, especially in developing economies, is to keep people around you that you can trust and that you can be around. And so she has grown. We're talking the other day, and her salary has grown 100%, right? When we started, we were paying her above market value, but even today, She has doubled what we used to pay her about 10 years ago. So she's doing well for herself. But one day she calls me and she says, I'm not coming to work on this Saturday. And I said, I mean, it was a Friday. I'm not coming to work on this Friday. And I said, why? What's going on, Grace? And she said, it's because I want to go and take a look at my investments and make sure that they are doing well. I was like, Grace, are you the one that's going to be paying me now salary now? Because this one that you are taking a day off to go and look at your investments. What does this mean? Explain more to me. She said, well, I listened to you, and some of the things that I've started doing is to say that the money I'm making, can I put it into things that will give me income, even whether I'm here or not? And I said, okay, tell me about the investments you've made. She said, the first one was there was a woman that sells pepper beside her house, beside Grace's house. And that this woman started looking for someone to put money together to buy a grinding machine, so that this woman could couple her business, which is you buy the pepper, you grind it here, she can make more income that way. And Grace said, and I add a bit of disposable income. I was like, okay, tell me more. And so Grace bought the grinding machine, gave it to the woman on a sharing formula. And now when somebody buys pepper from the woman can also grind the pepper, make a bit of income, and return some investment income to Grace on a weekly basis. And so she wanted to go and check and make sure that it was okay. And there were a couple of other things that she had done. She told me about, sometimes ordering, apparently, produce, groceries, so like tomatoes, peppers, and things like that, are like 50% cheaper up north. And if you can ship it down to Lagos or somewhere, you can make almost 100% profits. And she had done some of those kinds of things. And I was just really, really impressed. Because think about it, a lot of us are not making she's not making the kind of money that a lot of us are making. But many of us have literally scaled up our lifestyles to the place where it's literally impossible to save anything, right? So in my view, this is there's someone called Samuel Fejiro in the room. Should I click admit? It's new. Okay, I think it's gone off. Okay. All right, guys, let me just make sure. I almost feel like I'm talking to myself. Is everybody still connecting with me? Unmute briefly and say, yeah.
Yes, sir.
This is making sense to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A lot of sense, sir.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you so
Yes.
much. Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate you. Thank you. Right, so Grace had done that, and that was impressive. There's a story I should have told you a bit back, but I think I'll let that go. I'll tell you about something else that brought this on to me so much. You see, a lot of times when we think about investments and money, we think about money as this abstract thing that can help us get the things we want and all that stuff. But really, in the true sense of it, money is really about your life. It's the one thing that determines how you live your life. But not just your life, also the life of your children and your family. When we think about that, it changes things up quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes it such that now all of a sudden you're thinking, oh my God, everything about my children can literally be affected through what I do in terms of whether I want to YOLO, you only live once, let me enjoy my money now and blah, 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 blah. Or do I want to systematically move myself to the place where I'm making financial progress? So there was a boy that we hired for our business. It was in 2001, around this time. So this young boy, this is what happened. We had a major problem. We needed to resolve a Python. Python is a computer programming language problem. And everybody said the only way to resolve this was at Overwood, which is the fintech investment business. The only way to resolve this is to outsource it to Germany or London or something. So we started looking for international people to help us look at that problem. Now, our lead developer at that time belonged to a Facebook group of Nigerian developers. So he just posted that we have this problem. blah, blah, blah. We think it will take a long time to solve, and we're looking for somebody overseas to solve it. And then one gentleman replied and said, I can solve it. I can resolve the problem. So I said, well, let's not stop our search, but let's give this guy a chance. So we sent it to him. Now, our thought was this thing would take like a month or so to resolve, right? About 5 to 6 days later, this gentleman sends the solution, and that's I will pay him for the thing. And I looked at the solution, and it was elegant. It was beautiful. This guy had resolved all the problems that we had with that solution. So the first thing I said was, guys, we need to know this guy. We need to meet him. We need to find out who he is. So I said, guys, reach out to him and invite him to our office, our Lagos office. So the first thing he said is, oh, guys, I'm not in Lagos. I'm in Lokoja. And I was just blown away. I'm like, there's no way this human being lives in Lokoja. This human being has to be Lagos or Ibadan, or you know what I'm saying, or Port Harcourt or Abuja or something. He says, no, I live in Lokoja, so I can't come randomly like that. And then we're like, well, don't worry. We'll pay for your transportation. We just want to meet you. We want you to come. He said, the problem is I have to talk to my parents. And I was just like, what? Is this a joke? How old are you? He said, I'm 19 years old. And this 19-year-old human being that lives in Lokoja had resolved the problem that we had spent years and months trying to solve. Now, let me tell you how this leads to finance. So eventually we paid for him to come to Lagos. He comes to Lagos. The moment he gets to Lagos, I was like, this guy is not leaving. What do you want to do with your life? I'm never going to university. I already know what I'm going to, blah, blah, blah. But okay, we'll give you a job, but let me speak with your parents. So I spoke to his parents, and his parents said, well, they've already agreed that he should move to Lagos because he told them that he's coming here to look for a job. We'll get you a house, we'll give you a job, just move here. And he did move. And then I told his parents that I'll be responsible to make sure that he's okay and everything. Right? But here's the point. So I said, his name is Abraham. Abraham, how did you learn to do this stuff? How did you learn to be so good at Python? Walk with me through this story. He said, my parents are very poor. And it's not because my dad has a good job, but he just never keeps the money. The money comes in and it goes, and we're struggling for money all the time. We just never have anything. So one day I went to visit my uncle at the University of Abuja, and I went in and saw computers and saw what people were doing with computers. And I told my uncle that I'd like to be a computer scientist. He said I was 16. And then when I got home, I told my dad, I said, Dad, I'd like to be a computer scientist. Would you please buy me a computer? He said, my dad looked at me and said, I can't afford it. You will not be a computer scientist. Or you will not be able to do this because I obviously can't afford it. He said, so what he did was, he then went on and was a conductor without his parents' knowledge for like 5 months. That every time he leaves work, he will go and work at the bus station. I mean, every time he leaves school at about 2 or 3 p.m., he will go to the bus station, work till about 7 or 8. And he did that for 6 months until he raised enough money to buy a used computer. And it was within those 3 months that every night he would stay up to study computer programming. Now, the bad thing is that his eyes are already bad, because he said usually there's not a lot of good electricity in Lokoja. And so he had to study with candles, right? Now, you just imagine if the boy was not that industrious, his father not being financially wise would have destroyed the entire destiny of that boy. Early this year, the boy left us. Now he works for a firm that is based in Canada. He works from home in Lagos for a Canadian firm. He's 21 years old now, but he makes much more money than literally anybody in his neighborhood. He's already paying the rent. He's already paying school fees for his sisters. He's already like, I mean, that's not a good part of the story, but it is what it is, But all that could have been derailed just because his father was not wise with money. So we need to gradually walk through this model, build emergency funds, build investments, and then begin to build investment incomes. The true final stage of this is what we call financial independence. That's why it's a financial independence model, which is where all of us should strive to be. It would take you time. Sometimes it will take 15 years, sometimes it will take 10 years, sometimes it will take 20 years, but we can all get here. The problem is that many of us don't make it a goal in our life. So if you don't have it as a goal, then you'll never really get here. It's the place where the money coming from your investments over here, or your investment income, can fund your lifestyle. So you don't need to work again. You notice that income here is now 0. Expenses is 100, but investment on income is also 100. So investment income can fully fund your expenses. So you don't need to work for money anymore. You don't need an income anymore. That's a beautiful place to be. That's the best place to be, right? Took me a really long time, but sometime in 2017, May 2017. At that time, I was the CEO of Publicis Africa in South Africa. And then in April of that month, I got here, my investment income could cover my expenses, right? So May, I walked up to the group office and I resigned. And they were like, no way, this is like the blah, 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 you should be here forever. This is, we will do whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, I'm actually just don't need this job anymore, right? Now, it doesn't mean that that investment income was a lot of money, right? But my lifestyle was not such that I needed a lot of money. It was a lifestyle where I could fund it with what I was making out of my investment income. So there are two ways why people never get here. Sometimes when people begin to make quite a bit of money, they then begin to raise their lifestyles until they always need, for instance, that's why politicians can never retire in Africa, right? African politicians never retire. Why? Because as they make more money, the way they make the money is also the way they spend it, right? So their lifestyle becomes so expensive that they need to keep making and stealing the same money in order to keep going. So that's why they can't retire, they can't leave office. Even MDs and all these people in Nigeria, usually they can't leave office because to a large extent, they keep their lifestyles in such a place that it's literally impossible for this to happen. But guys, this can happen for everybody. It's just that it takes time. It takes working hard. It takes building it. It takes, being very conscious of the things you invest in. Right? But this is the ultimate, right? So that when you get here, you do the things you want to do, not the things you have to do. Right? The things you want to do rather than the things you have to do. And there's no better place to do it. Fund your life through passive income. So some of us, and I know several, Itunde knows this person, so I'm not going to mention a name. But I remember when we were in university, this person, gentleman, always said, I believe strongly that I've been called to be a pastor and a missionary, and that's what I'll do for the rest of my life. It was not a question, it was vehement. He knew that was what he wanted to. Right? But Jude is a big shot banker today. And we've been out of university for more than 20 years, right? And he still works in banking. And I think part of it could be, he really could have done banking for 15 years or something, or 10 years or whatever, and then moved his model to the place where he's investing, where the investment income can cover his lifestyle, so that it doesn't have to do what he doesn't want to do. He can do exactly what he wants to do and fund his lifestyle with investment income. But I'm saying that point to make the point that almost all of us are not yet financially independent. We wake up in the morning and we have to do certain things. We have to go to the job. We have to do this, blah, blah, so that we can make money to fund our lifestyle. But if we gradually begin to be wise with money, to the place where we build a portfolio of funds that then begin to fund our lifestyle, we become financially independent. The final place of this is a place that I don't know anybody that is there, but someone like Bill Gates is there, right? Because his investment income is in millions of dollars, right? And so even his expenses, the money he makes every month through his investments alone covers much more than anything that he can call expenses, right? So this is like financial abundance. Your investment income is so high that it's 10x's or 5x's your expenses. Let me give an example. So, and as I'll move now that I've built the stage and talk about investments, right? When people think about Bill Gates, for instance, they think about Microsoft. But Bill Gates now owns just about 4% or so of Microsoft. That's not where his money is. He doesn't make as much money from Microsoft anymore. The interesting thing is Bill Ballmer, that ran Microsoft, actually has more shares in Microsoft today than Bill Gates does, right? So his money is not in the highest. There are two places where Bill Gates makes most of his money. The first is a company called Waste Management in America. So Waste Management is like the company that's responsible for managing a lot of picking up waste from people's house, trash, picking up, clean up industrial trash. His trash business is where is Bill Gates' number one investment, Waste Management. The second one is land. Bill Gates owns about 1 million acres of land in America, right? He owns, from what I gathered, he said he owns about 1% of the land in this country, right? And so he has done what I'm about to talk to you about, which is the very next stage. How do you make money? It's by diversifying, right? So there are 6 or 5 different models that I call the 5 pillars of financial independence. I may have spoken to some of them as we're going along, but I'll just deep dive into investments and talk to you about my 3 buckets model, and then we can have questions. Kike, I hope I'm still on track with time and I'm not boring you guys yet.
Yes, you are, sir. You on track?
I'm boring you. Okay, yeah.
No, you're not boring us, but you're on track.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll talk investments briefly and then we'll go into questions. So I really, really like this saying, and I hate quoting myself, but I like the saying a lot. That's the idea is that fools borrow to sustain their lifestyle, while wise people invest into their lives. I really, really think this is so true, guys. Like, fools borrow to sustain their lifestyle being, what do I want to wear? What party do I want to go? I have a friend whose family always goes to England for summer vacation. And I know this guy doesn't have money. He doesn't have the disposable income to make that happen. But his lifestyle is that every summer, all his friends take their families to England for vacation. So why would he, even when things are hard, he'll borrow, he'll do everything to make sure that happens. So one day I called him, I was like, dude, I help you think about your money and manage your money. You don't have the money you're spending. You're just investing into your own lifestyle instead of investing into your life. And he stopped. Dude is now in a really, really good place. I'm happy for him and his family. They are doing well. Things are looking really, really good. Well, so there are many ways to think about investments, but I think it boils down to 2 things, really. The first is don't lose money. The second is diversify like crazy. And so that's why when I told you about Bill Gates, for instance, right? He was heavily concentrated in tech, but now he's fully diversified, into multiple other things. So even your own little space, you have to think through on how do I diversify my funds and investment. Well, the first thing is don't lose money. So when someone tells you that I'll double your money in XYZ days or months, if they could do it, they don't need your money. Should I explain it to you? If someone can double money, they don't need your money because they can start with 1 naira, right? If you can double money every month, within 6 years, it will be a multi-billionaire. Yeah, it will be the richest person in the world. If you start with 1 naira, you can double money every month. Very soon, you'll be the richest person in the world. So you don't need anybody's money. Okay, now imagine you start with 100K. or even 50K, and you can double money every month. Bill Gates will be borrowing money from you in a couple of years. So it's a lie. If they make you those kinds of whatever, just understand that they're trying to steal your money. They're trying to take your money away. If they have a unique business model that you don't understand, run away. Right? So like when I think about the MMMs of this world and the MLM and I even wonder why they always have three-letter acronyms. But a lot of times it's just so unique and so different that you can't understand it. It's usually, excuse my language, it's usually bullshit. Right? It doesn't have a track record of performance. I was very, very excited when I was talking to my team last week. I said in January, Overwood would be a 3-year-old business. About 5 billion naira would have passed through the business, plus or minus. And we've never defaulted once on anybody. All that is great, but the most important part of that story is that it's going to be 3 years old. And 3 years means that you can literally make noise about 3 years, 10,000 customers, not a single problem. So I was really, really excited about that. But it's got to be a track record of performance of some sort that they can show you over time that things have happened. But most importantly, if they require you to a significant upfront payment with no guarantee of returns, right? I remembered when I was going for in engineering, I was also an engineer. You go for IT in your 4th year, I believe. So while I was doing my IT, one day this guy just came to me and I was shopping. And before I knew it, I don't tell this story a lot, so you guys are one of the few people that will hear the story. Before I knew it, the guy told me that he wanted me to come and help him do something, blah, 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 blah. Before I knew it, I was in a warehouse. I'd left the shop. Apparently, I followed him out of the shop. I don't know what he did to me, but I was in a warehouse. And when I got to the warehouse, that was when I came to, and I was like, what am I doing here? What's going on, guys? What's this? And he said, oh, relax. We just want to show you something. And he brought out this huge bucket that was filled with some green chemical of some sort. And he brought out these stacks of paper, right? And he pushed it into the bucket, pulled it out, and it was just money, a lot of money. The paper that was just white paper suddenly became money. And I don't know what he did, but I knew it was just but at that time, I didn't know it was just a bullshit trick. I didn't know it was just something that it was conjuring. And then he said that I should look at this side of the warehouse. It was full of paper, right? That all that paper is ready to be converted to money using this process that he just used. And that to do it, they just needed, I don't remember, mention some amount of money. And that if I would invest into this model and then they can buy all the chemicals, all of a sudden, we can wash the rest of the money and all of us will be rich and blah, blah, blah. And oh my God, it was like the greatest business proposition in the world. I was just excited. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is great. How much do you need? He told me the amount. I said, I don't have that amount. He said, well, what we could do is we could go to your house, sell your parents' TVs, sell a couple of things, raise the money, quickly wash some money, and then use the money that we just did to buy all the things back before your parents come back. I was like, oh my God, amazing. Let's do this. And then I just said, bro, give me 1 minute to think. That was what saved me, right? So when investments come, when opportunities come your way, give me 1 minute to think about it. So he said yes. So I just walked away from him and I began to think of it. Now, this is what saved me, because a lot of these things, you have to have a component of greed. It's how people get in trouble. At that time, I was a youth pastor in a church. And I was just thinking, if I suddenly get rich, how do I explain my money? But also more importantly, how would I have a testimony to all these kids that are all looking up to me? What will I tell them I did? How will my story sync with my lifestyle? And I was just thinking more about, because I was sure that it was a good deal. Like I was sure it was a good business. But I was thinking more about, is this even legal? Is this the right thing to do? Is this a value? Does this align with my values? And so after those few minutes, I just walked back to the gentleman and I was like, guys, I really, really think this is a great opportunity, but I'm not going to be able to take advantage of the opportunity because it doesn't align with my values. It's not who I am. And they were like, no, this is I was like, no, it's just not who I am. And they're like, are you going to call the police on us? That was the first time it occurred to me that this could be fraud. Because they said, are you going to call the cops? And I said, no, I'm just going to go home. I'm just not interested. And they let me go. And I remembered, I think it was a Wednesday afternoon. So I didn't even go back to the office. I just went home and I slept from that Wednesday afternoon till Thursday night. Like incredible. I didn't even get up. I just slept off. And when I woke up and I told my sisters about it, they were just laughing. They thought it was the most hilarious thing in the world. They said, God saved you. That this is a trick, that blah, blah. But the point I'm making was that what saved me was not that I knew it was a trick. It was just going back to my values, thinking through on the things that are important to me, right? Again, so I think it was this significant upfront payment with no guarantee of returns that got me to think about that. Okay, this is where we close this, right? I'll talk to you about this strategy that I use, and I believe is the most important way to think about building money. The first thing is, any business that says bring all your money, any investment, anything that says we're the only ones, you should give us all your investments, you're the only blah, 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 it's wrong. You really should try and build a portfolio, right? So whatever it is that you do, think through on how do I build a portfolio of investments. So I believe in a long-term aggressive bucket, which is where I drop some of my money. Medium-term balanced budgets, I drop some money there too. And then I have a short-term liquidity budget where I also drop some of my money. And I'll walk you through each one of those. So a 40-something-year-old man, closer to 50 than to 40, at this stage of life. So what I do is I put about 20% of my funds in a short-term liquidity bucket. I think it's actually lower than it's about 10% plus or minus. Right, so I've got this, you got savings account, you got fixed deposits, things that you can readily get if quote unquote shit hits the fan and you absolutely need money now, right? So you've got things like fixed deposits. This is where Overwood will be, for instance. Overwood is at www.overwood.ng. Overwood, Origi, overwood.ng. So it's because with Overwood Prime you can collect your money at any time. Literally at any time you need your money back, right? So what a lot of people that I found, what they do is that they put funds in them for their liquidity buckets, but also there's also a couple of other Overwood funds. For instance, we have Overwood Dollar, which I found amazing because a bunch of the people that started with us on Overwood Dollars put about 300,000, which as at that time was about $1 million, about $1,000. Right? If they collect their money today, that's about 750,000 naira, right? So again, what you see is that Overwood Dollar preserves your funds regardless of what's going on with the dollar exchange rate. And then we have Overwood Child, which is your child investment funds, which is where you invest towards. So why did we start Overwood Child? I have a sister that's in January, April, and October, she's always looking for money to borrow. Money for school fees, right? So we put a fund in place where your fund is locked up until January, April, and October when school starts, so that you can use that primarily for your children's education. So, or you can even use it to build long term if you want your kids to study at Harvard or to study abroad. It's money that keeps growing while that is ongoing. We also have a balanced budget, which is sort of like where you put a mutual fund, treasury bills, some corporate funds, some CDs, so you find that in these places, it's a bit more long-term. It's not a 30-day fund, it's not a 60-day fund, it's not an immediate fund. So you put a lot more of your funds in this because you expect that the returns will be quick. And then obviously you have some funds that you can now play almost kalu with, right? not kalu. I don't mean kalu. So to know what's talking about trading. So if you're going to trade, for instance, don't trade with all the money you have. Keep a lot of your money in some good liquidity funds, some balanced investments, and then you can then be a little bit more aggressive with just a small part of your fund. While I was growing my own funds, I was not very aggressive at all. But now that I've gotten to a place where I have quite a bit of liquidity, I've become a lot more aggressive with still about 20 to 30% of my funds, but I'm actually, doing some slightly more aggressive things with my funds. But, it's just gradual, but don't put all your money into any of these things, right? Just find ways. Now, the question you'd ask is, what does Overwood do with the funds that's with us? Overwood, what do we do with it? So we do a lot of these different things that we talked about. But the key thing is that your funds become so heavily diversified that you don't get into trouble. The problem that a lot of people have is, how do I diversify? I don't have the time to do the research. I don't have the skills to do the research, and I don't even have the ability to diversify my portfolio. So what do you then do? You sleep better, and in general, you make more money with a well-managed fund like an overwood.ng, where you can push some funds into it and just watch it grow on a daily basis with the compound interest. I think most people don't have the skill or the whatever to buy individual, unless you're taking. So let me give an example. So let's say that you think that MTN is going to rule the world with Momo, and Momo is the new thing they just started, right? So you want to invest in MTN. Understand that in doing that, it should be part of your long-term fund. It should be aggressive. It should be fund that you keep there. You know that even if MTN dies tomorrow, you'll be okay, right? But the best way to do this is to make sure it's not all your money. There's no sure banker investment. There's no sure banker anything, Everything you do should be a portion of your money. The law is diversify. In your own small way, maybe 3 things, maybe 2 things, right? I'm diversified in maybe 15 to 20 different investment models, right? But that's me, because maybe I have a little more liquidity than I used to. But you're starting, it could be 1, it could be 2 or 3 things. Just make sure that all the money you have doesn't sit in any one thing. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this has been worthwhile for you.
That is like an amazing session. I'm short of words. Okay, that was, I feel like we should have like an extended time, let's digest all this, because it's really amazing. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. It's been impactful. In fact, I've done like a quick scan, try to say, okay, what stage do I fall in? Where, it's really, really amazing. Thank you so much, sir. And I'm really excited to actually meet you. Well, it's a video conferencing, but yeah, I'm really excited to meet you. So yes, it's been worth our time. Thank you so much, sir. So for everyone, I'm sure that we had so much that we've learned from this conversation, and we have questions. So if you have questions, please drop in the comment section so that he or the coach can actually answer this question. So I think I have a question, because I start off with myself. So I'm thinking, okay, looking at the different stages, I know, I very much know where I fall in. And at the same time, I'm trying to build or learn healthy financial habits. Now,
yeah, we lost Susan.
Hey, we lost Susan. Okay. Let me take over. Amazing sessions. You're like amazing. Lots, too many take-homes. One of my major take-home, and I'm sure my community knows that, is that
if, for example, my income, and I'm
okay,
still struggling to, for example, clear off, I have debt. Okay, sorry, my network was acting up again. So my question was, is it wise to
I think Susan is in Lokoja. So the network is bad.
The place where they have the Python.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm actually
We lost you again.
Okay,
briefly,
so
Susan.
yes. So is it possible to learn healthy financial habits at the same time move up the stages without having to shoot yourself in the leg? Simple. My expenses are greater than my income. Can I still learn to save and invest at the same time?
Yes, definitely. I think that's why we're here. I think it's extremely important for us to keep learning and growing. Like literally nobody knows it all, and nobody. Sometimes our knowledge is greater than our stage in life. But life is in stages. I think the mistake we often make is to short circuit those stages, right? So we just keep learning, we keep building. 90% of the things I learned in finance, well, maybe not 90% of my foundation in finance came when I had zero, I had nothing. I was a grad student at the University of Oklahoma, and one church was doing a session, a Dave Ramsey session. I don't know if you guys know about Dave Ramsey, right? And so I went for the session, and the guy was just talking about how to manage your money, how to think about money, how to do this, how to do that. And as he was talking, I was just picking all of it up, but I didn't have a dime, right? And so it was that process of learning while not having much that when the opportunity came to make a bit more, I was able to use those things. So we walk through the stages, we learn the things that's important to us, and as life goes on, we become better at these things.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Someone is asking in the chat section if Overwood has its own app.
Yes, Overwood has an app. It's in the App Store, and it's also in the Google Play. We're changing all of it next year. The new Overwood is coming out next year. That's amazing. I've been reviewing the work you guys are doing. I'm just excited. But we currently do have the app and all that stuff.
Okay, questions answered. Okay, one more question. I think I can see this in the chat room. It says, Doctor, how much is the least to invest with Overwood and at what rate?
5,000 Naira. The beauty of Overwood is that the funny thing is I don't make, Overwood is not how I make money, sincerely. The goal of Overwood is to give regular people a chance to at least invest some of their money, because usually when you go to, so the beauty of this model is that the person that is investing 5,000 and the person that is investing 500,000 gets exactly the same rates, right?
Oh.
Because the goal is to ensure that people were able to it's almost like it's literally like a mutual fund, that you just get your share of the money you put in as interest at the end of the day, but we're not tearing it so that big boys make more. No, it's all about what you have. You grow from where you are. That's the model.
Wow, thank you very much, sir.
Okay, so please let me just quickly layer on that. I can see Nathan saying, wow, 5K. Nathan, 5K is not about to get you get you to financial freedom. You have to do it consistently.
Consistently.
So, you can we've spoken about automation, have we in this session, but we have in some of our sessions. So you can do like an automatic debit from your account into Overwood every month. If you know that your salary is paid on the 25th, for instance, you just go to the bank. All your banks have those apps. You don't even have to go down there. And you say automatically on the 26th or on the 27th, transfer this money to Overwood. So you're not even stressing. There's no like, I forgot. Grandmother died.
So, but that's a really good one. Now that you mentioned it, a bunch of people ask me that, what about responsibilities? What if I barely make enough for myself, but my cousins, my brother, my this, I have to take care of? Well, this is how I think about it. So nobody has asked that question, but is it okay if I answer the question? Is it a good?
Yes.
Sure. So if you are looking at the chat room, Nathan is already laughing like, because I said like 5,000 will not become 5 million though after 10 years.
So what usually happens is, this is the way I think about it. I can share out of the money I have, but if I don't have the money, then I can't share out of it, right? I don't know if you got what I'm saying. So when my salary comes in, the first thing that goes out of it is my investment, right? So I don't have that money. The investment that's gone out, I don't have it. So because I'm not going to spend it, my children are not going to spend it, my cousin is not going to spend it, my uncle it's not our money, it's the future's money. That money belongs to the future, right? So that money goes out the moment the salary comes in. Now, the rest of it that we all have, out of that, right? I'm meeting the needs of my families, I'm meeting my own needs. If my uncle dies and now we need to do a blah, 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 that's where the money is going to come from. If my cousin needs to go to school and now we need, that's where that money is going to come from. So the people that use the black tax excuse as a reason not to save and invest, I think it's ridiculous, because you first of all take out the monies get for your future out of the entire business model before you even think about, before you have the opportunity to spend it, because that opportunity will show up if you leave it there. So Nathan, that's think about your future. Something your future self will be proud of and happy for is the way you need to think about life.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. It's been an amazing session with our amazing guest.
Is this goodbye?
Yes,
Sorry,
yes,
Susan,
yes.
please, the feedback form is in the chat room. Let's feel the feedback form. And everybody, I hope you are capturing. In fact, what I expected is you guys are going to turn on your camera and you are snapping yourself with Dr. Tayo and you are putting it on your WhatsApp, your LinkedIn. That's how people will know that your life is changing. Say,
Like I met him.
Morning Mastery with Dr. Tayo. People will know, yes, you've learned. Over to you, Susan, then we round up.
Thank you, Susan.
Okay, thank you so much.
Let me just,
everyone,
sorry, Susan,
oh, yeah.
may I, guys, I want to thank you all for having me. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Itunu, for inviting me. Thank you, Susan, for being such a great host. And I just, my prayer is that all of us will look back to this day, 5-10 years from now, and be able to say that, some things, or to this series of sessions, I'll be able to say some things change in our lives.
Amen.
The same way that I can look back to 2003, that session by Dave Ramsey, that's, I was just randomly invited to, how that set me off on this path that I am today. So I just want to thank you guys very much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Wait, sorry, Tayo, let me yab you small so that they will know that I know you. This one is yab. So yes, and believe me, everything he said is practiced, things that's helped him reach here. So he said we were in school together, which is very true. And when it got to that period when all of us were getting married, the way they planned Owambe, everybody was talking about Owambe. And this strange man that is beside me said he will not have an Owambe wedding. And we're like, what kind of sense is that one? And it's like, why should I feed everybody? Honestly, for me, that it was really, really strange. It took me years to understand the wisdom that the money we use for this, our lavish ceremonies that the society puts us under pressure on to think is important, would actually speak way into our future. He was the only person in the group that said it, and he meant it, and he did it. I didn't eat his wedding rice. Tayo, you are still waving that rice.
No, but I wasn't even in Nigeria then, remember? But
you were supposed to come back. That's what everybody does. Then we pick Ashwebi.
Yes. Who else did it? Coyote. Coyote had 10 people
that's true. Coyote did that.
10 people. And everybody, because in his view, and I agree with that view, in his view, the marriage is more important than the wedding, right? Mm-hmm. And the marriage is what happens after the ceremony. And so they kept their money for the marriage. And they just moved into a really nice house. They did, bought a new car so that the wife could have a car and a driver, blah, blah. And I was like, hey, where's all this money coming from? say, oh, the money we're supposed to do party.
Do party.
So, you know.
I'm sure that is wisdom for somebody. Please don't go and borrow money to feed village people.
Exactly. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So someone is asking if we could have your LinkedIn profiles, Dr. Tayo and Coach as well. So if we can connect it to your LinkedIn, if that's possible.
I'm probably the only Tayo Oyedeji on LinkedIn. Check it out, Tayo Oyedeji.
Oh, okay, that's great. Thank you so much. We've had a swell time. Like, it's been so worth my time. I feel like I should go for 2 more hours, but well, let's just go and digest all that we've learned and begin to make these things practical in our lives. So for everyone, please look out for the feedback form. Make sure you fill it, and so we know we get feedback from you on how the session went and what to improve on and all that. So we will be closing the curtains now on today's session. I trust it was amazing. You can say that again and again and again and again. It was amazing, and I'm simply blown away. So till we meet next month again for another webinar.
Let's all unmute and tell Tayo thank you.
Oh yes.
Thank you, Dr. Tayo.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What happened to me? Thank you, Dr. Tayo. Come.
Okay. Thank you so much to our amazing speakers. You've done wonderful, and we're so grateful. Have a lovely day, everyone. And this is goodbye.